What's going on YouTube? Stipe here, and today I am doing a kind of similar video to what I've been doing lately. And I've been doing quite a few videos on the TRACKHAWK in particular lately because I've found that there are quite a few people interested in what I have to say about it. So this is another video on a TRACKHAWK, and it's a video that I got asked by a few people to do. And I did a video on how much you can negotiate off a JL Wrangler, as well as I kind of did the same on a Hellcat, and talked about how you could get a Hellcat for about 50 grand. So what I'm doing is now I'm going to be doing a video on the TRACKHAWK and talking about how much you can negotiate off of this vehicle. So to start, the TRACKHAWK just came out this year in 2018. This is the first year of it, of course. And there's always been the SRT Grand Cherokee, but now there is a 707 horsepower Grand Cherokee, which is about 200 more horsepower from, a little more than 200 horsepower from what the 392 was pushing in the SRTs. So now we have this incredible 707 horsepower car, and I know a lot of people are eager to either buy it or learn more about it and see if it's really worth jumping into. So if I'm talking about price point and everything to what's comparable to this SUV, there's really not a whole lot that's comparable to it, but for what you're getting, it is definitely worth that money. The thing is I've done other videos on why you should maybe hold off and wait, and I'll put those at the end of this video as well so you guys can see that. But for now, I'm going to talk about how much you can negotiate off of this if you come to a dealership like this here, Unique Chrysler, for example. So I do work at a car dealership. I work at several. We're under an umbrella for Ford. We own a Ford store, a Chrysler store, and Mazda, and a few other dealerships as well, Nissan, and a few used car dealerships. So now I'm very particularly familiar with kind of what you can negotiate off of these. So they have been sitting around on a lot of lots, I'm not gonna lie, or anything like that. They've definitely been sitting around on a lot of dealership lots, definitely here in Canada, and I am sure in the US. Reason being is they just didn't take off as well as everyone thought, and that's because of price point. So because this is we're going to talk about how much you can negotiate, of course this video is going to be just about price, and really what is the best price you can get one of these TRACKHAWKs for. So for the most part, you'll be looking at a window sticker here in Canada of about anything over 120. Usually in the US, you'll be looking at about anything over, I believe it's 90 plus, usually 95 plus. Let's say they're fully loaded. I think in the US it's just a tad over 100. Here it's, I think, a tad over 127. So I mean, it's a lot of money, definitely. So pretty much how much gross profit is in one of these vehicles, I mean, we'll talk about it. Right now, you're looking at about, here in Canada, you're looking at about $10,000 in gross profit in a TRACKHAWK, maybe 11, depends. I mean, how it's exactly equipped and everything. So now, if you're in the US, you're probably looking at about 8 or 9 gross profit in a TRACKHAWK. Now, obviously that is for negotiating, and yes, you can typically in the US and Canada get easily 8 to 9 grand off of one of these TRACKHAWKs. So I'm going to get in the car and we're going to talk about how. So now the question is how much can you really get off of one of these vehicles? Now, typically it depends, right? I mean, what dealership you're at. You always want to go for the big dealerships. Reason being is because they have usually the most inventory, and they're a high volume store, and they want to push units out more than they want to make profit. And I would say that about 85% of dealerships are more looking to get units out first before really profit. And as weird as that sounds, so now I had a question on my JL video: how the heck does someone stay in business if they're losing money on a car? You're lying and this and that. Well, no, technically not. The reason being is they can afford to lose money because yes, they do make money eventually. The thing is it's a little bit different from what you're typically used to. Not every dealership is really looking on gross profit. Of course they are. I mean, you need to make somewhat gross profit and hold it. But I'm here to help out obviously the customer and tell you guys that, I mean, dealerships will lose money, and especially on cars that are sitting for quite some time, and are pretty pricey, they actually will lose more money on it if they see there's not a lot of interest. So when they get someone who's interested on it, they're more easier to negotiate on it, and they're easier to get rid of it for a less price. So I mean, if you shop on Auto Trader or anything that is posting, you know, dealership inventory online, you'll see dealerships are probably discounting them online and already starting to try and get rid of these things. I mean, it's 2018, 2019 is coming soon. They want to get rid of these things. There's like 4 months left of the year that they can get rid of them, and usually come November and December, you're already looking at 19s on the lot. I mean, we already have 19 Rams all over the lot, so I mean, you're looking at just 19 cars really coming in, and you're just like, I don't want to get a 2018. I'll wait 2 months till the 2019 TRACKHAWK comes in, or I'll order a 2019 TRACKHAWK, which makes sense to a certain extent. But as well as, if you want to get the best deal, now is the time of year if you do want to buy one of these TRACKHAWKs for the best price. Now, if you do wait off a bit more, you'll probably get an even better discount. I said that in another video, because eventually they're just going to sit longer and longer here. It might not be the current model year, but if you want the best price and you just want to get into one of these cars, you're best off waiting. But as of right now, and even for probably the next few months, how much can you actually negotiate off of one of these? So let's say guaranteed with gross profit, if you're in the US, $8,000 for sure you can get off. If you're in Canada, probably 10, maybe 11, depends. Now, I've talked about 5% coupons. Now, Chrysler's weird. Sometimes on high-end vehicles, their high-end vehicles, I should say, they sometimes don't allow employee 5%ers or family discounts to apply to these cars. Now, I believe Chrysler does allow it now on one of these, on the TRACKHAWK, so that means you would get 5% of the cost as well off of the car. Technically, that's not true. The dealership will tell you, well, no, you just get the car for cost, which is the way it works, and then the dealership gets the kickback of that 5%. But if you are negotiating, you can actually get that 5% to be to you. So let's say on a car like this, 5%, I mean, that's $5,000 probably in the US, $4,000 cost wise, and in Canada it would be around the same, probably $5,000 to $6,000 as well. Additionally off you could get. Then it depends how much the dealership wants to lose. If you're talking at, you know, at the end of the month, like right now, where a dealership is close to hitting their target, they might be willing to take a $3,000 loss. Usually $3,000 is a lot, and they usually won't do it, but you could probably negotiate $1,500 loss on something like this, or $1,000 loss. So a grand total of, if you're in the US, you could probably save about $13,000. In Canada, you could probably save close to probably $1,000 off of one of these. So that's typically how much you can negotiate off of one of these vehicles. Now, don't be discouraged. I don't like giving negotiating tips. I just like talking about really the price of what you can get one of these down to. Don't negotiate the payment. Negotiate how much is actually being taken off the MSRP, which is what I'm telling you right now. You don't want to negotiate a payment, because then interest is involved and things like that, and you can hide money in a payment. Don't negotiate that. Go online, calculate. If you discounted the MSRP, let's say $15,000 if you're in Canada, and the car is, just for easy math, $100,000. That means $85,000 is what you would pay for the car. Put it on an online auto loan calculator. If you want to do 96 months financing, let's say at whatever the current standard interest rate is, let's say 4.5, and you put that all in the calculator, 85 plus tax, whatever the percentage of taxes wherever you are, province, state, or territory, and you pretty much, now that calculator will calculate everything for you and give you a bi-weekly or monthly payment and tell you exactly what that payment is. If you want to negotiate payment, then you go into the dealership with that payment there, and you just say to them, listen, I want to be at $500 bi-weekly, $450 bi-weekly, whatever the payment is, and then the dealership can go off of that, because at least then you know that the dealership isn't hiding anything, because then they can't change the interest rate on you. Because if they come back and say, well, it's going to be for, let's say you calculated at home for 50 biweekly, and then they go, oh, it's 500 biweekly, then you go, okay, could you break that down for me? So you'll see if they're giving you that discount, and if they're not, then that explains why the payment is higher, of course. But if they are, then why is the payment higher? Are they throwing in an extended warranty in the back that you're not knowing about until you get into the box office? Are they charging you a higher interest rate, a shorter term? You know, what could it be? Find that out, and then you will know exactly how to negotiate. But that's the only time I would negotiate a payment, for sure. So please don't negotiate a payment unless if you've done your homework and you know what that payment is. Otherwise, guys, if you do have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll be back with more videos. Thanks.